My colonies are growing up a bit. You can see I have seconds on a few, and I'm going to go around and see if any more could use seconds. I've got some nice new brood comb using my new Honey Super palette. I love these things. I'm really loving these things so far. So I've got a few, these little nucs I was dealing with yesterday. There's a few frames left in there, so I'm going to use those up too in these colonies. And you know, I think I'm going to add a patty. I've got a lot of patties right now, and I think I'm just going to add one pollen patty to each as I put a second on. And the ones that have a second, I'll crack them open and shove a patty in there. I think they'll appreciate that. We're in quite a dearth here because it's been a cold and wet kind of a season so far. And, you know, I don't think there's a whole lot of resource out there for them. You can often tell if you leave a frame or two of honey or syrup feed or something. Yeah, I was going to say in the apiary, but it doesn't have to be close by. They'll find it. You'll see the bees on that. If there's any kind of nectar flow, they're going to ignore that. So just talking here, I reminded myself of something else I need to do. These most recent two nucs that I got a few days ago, they need to be transferred into 10 frames. And so I'll do that today as well. Give them some nice brood frames. I'll give them at least 2. I may give them 3 feed frames. I've got a lot of feed frames. So I may give them 3 feed frames and then a couple of open brood frames. So I'm going to do that too. And so not real exciting stuff. Adding the seconds and the patties, that's pretty boring because I'm not pulling frames, I'm not doing inspections, I'm not, you know, I'm opening the lid. I just get a subjective idea of the strength of the colony, and then I go from there. I'll just most of them I'll add a second. There's one over here that overwintered. I always say that I've only got 3 overwinter colonies, but it's nothing more than a zombie. It really shouldn't even be there. And so I don't know what's going to happen to that. Maybe when I get my queens here. I'm expecting queens, you know, in a week or two maybe. Then I may just take that apart and put a new mated queen in there and get that rocking and rolling, or at least use that as part of the resource for a nice nuc. And that's what these zombies that are behind the camera are for. They're just for an aggregate resource for making up nucs once I get those queens. You're welcome to tag along, but I don't think this is going to be very interesting, but we'll do it anyway. Thanks for watching. I hadn't even looked in these. The gentleman brought them here. There's 2 of them. They're at opposite ends of the apiary. And I hadn't even looked in these, but I flipped the box open yesterday, and they're certainly nice looking nucs. This man is a good friend, and he's very good to me. So we will do this. I had my frame grabber when I transferred the 50 nucs that I got in the jesters, but it's way over there somewhere. So I'll do this the old-fashioned way. I like to be able to hold that out when I pull this first frame is all. We'll see how this goes. Just don't want to damage a queen, you know. Slow. Okay, there's a lot of bees. Well, there's a lot of bees in these. Oh, smokes. Okay, she's laying nicely, for sure. Nice slab of sealed brood there. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a genuine Maxent hive tool in my hand. It is such a joy to use that. I have a few, but they always seem to go missing. So there's the queen. She's not marked, but I don't have my marking thing in my pocket. Wow, he's good to me. Look at this. Thank you so much. When he He said to me, he said, I made those nukes especially for you, he said. Now I know what he meant. They are special. You know, there are a lot of good people in the world, and if your life isn't filled with good people, you're just not looking, because there's a lot of good people. That's a nice nuke. That is going to make a honey crop. A comb like this, if you're doing queen timing for grafting, where you sequester the queen in an area so that she can only lay on one frame, this is the perfect comb, I think. It's not an old black stinky one, but it's nice and uniform, and I think that would be an ideal comb to graft out of. All right. There's nothing in this box. I just added it yesterday, I think. But I think I want to put a patty in here. It's the 13th of June. So the temperatures are starting to climb, although they're still a bit cool at night. But they're starting to climb, and that's my chief concern about adding seconds, is can the colony support that extra space? Not in hive beetle territory, thankfully. And I believe that they can support that extra space with current environmental conditions. These are the Randy Oliver queens. Both these. And I mean, they're stretched out. The bees are filling the box, so that's a good sign. Okay, fine, I'll check. They're storing nectar and pollen in the center here. That is not a good sign. And this one is super heavy. That'd be a really good builder frame. But it's not what I want to see here. That's what I want to see here. Right? And that. That's kind of weird that all of those feed frames and stuff are right in the middle. It's just bizarre. So she's doing all right. She's no jackrabbit, but you know, she's okay, I guess. I think the cooler weather's been holding them back. Yeah, so she's laying. She's got everything you can't see that's sealed. That's all laid up. We've got a lot of cups here. Just don't want them getting any crazy ideas. Yeah, okay. Well, I think it's really weird that feed frame is right in the middle, but kind of is what it is, really. I'm not here to do any major manipulations. I'm just here to add patties and boxes. Okay, let's smoke them down a little bit again. The patties on, and then we'll put a box on this. Get a nice fresh box for them. So some might be wondering what the method is here. I realize that not everybody's been watching my channel very long, so I'll take a second and explain this. Generally, you would describe my management as a single brood chamber management, and so you may be saying, hey, wait a minute, you just put a second brood chamber on, and that's exactly what I just did. So in the spring, when the colonies get stronger, I'll put a second brood chamber on them. So even though I use a single brood chamber management strategy, the colonies do grow into seconds in the spring for a period of time, and that period of time can be anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks or so. If a colony is very strong, it could get a second in early May. These are nucs that splits I made earlier on. So this split was made, I think, I don't know, about the 8th of May or so, maybe the 5th. So they're only a month, 5 weeks old, and they're doing pretty good. So they go into 2 brood chambers. We get the brood ramped up and give them lots of space, mitigate swarming, etc., etc. And then when we go to honey flow, which will be in probably about 2 weeks, I'm expecting, then I'll get the queen in the bottom box and slip a queen excluder in between these two. So then that becomes a honey super. Now it may be full of brood as well, but that's okay, because as long as my honey flow is more than 21 days long, then all of the brood that's in that second box, which is now a honey super, will have emerged, and then they'll just backfill that with honey. So that's a quick explanation as to what the method is here. So this one doesn't look like it's quite as strong, but I think they still, under circumstances, will tolerate a second box. Beekeeping, the art of putting things on top of other things. I often cut my patties in 2 because I'm usually running a patty right under the lid, and my feed hole plug is in the middle, and I'll be feeding syrup likely, but I'm not doing that now, so they can sit right in the middle. Okay, go down. There's always got to be one poking around up on the edge there. Okay. So having said that about honey supers, when I bring my honey super by, I have a couple choices. People often ask, do you run 9 or 10 frames? As a rule, I run 9 frames on honey super. However, there's exceptions. So this is one exception, because this is my second brood chamber. So I'll run 10 frames in here. I don't know that that's necessary, but that's what I do. Now, when I bring my next box, I may bring 8 frames. So then I'll take 1 frame out of here, space them out to 9. Next box, then I'll have 9. I'll bring that one up. An exception, however, is I do draw a lot of comb. And when I draw comb, when I'm putting foundation on, I always want to have 10 frames in there just to get them tight, and it helps them do a nice job drawing foundation nice and straight. So when I bring my next box, I'll bring 10 frames, and it may be all foundation, it may be part of it foundation, and then I'll checkerboard this. I'll take 5 out of here and put alternating foundation and comb, and then the next box will be the same thing. Whether or not the foundation is right above the other one or not, I don't think matters. I don't pay attention to that. This one's not quite as robust, but we'll go ahead with the box anyway. Again, because I think the temperatures are going to be respectable over the wood ticks. Just awful. Okay, that looks really nice. So I just want to add a patty to this. Oh, wow. Looks like they've been putting honey in up here. I don't know, maybe they did okay on that honey, that dandelion flow. I obviously haven't been in here much because the cage is still there. I have to make some room though. It's hard to smoke them off of open feed. Now, an advantage of doing this thing where you put the second brood chamber on is if you want to make a split. Now it's getting late, but if I were to put this brood chamber on here, the second week of May, then she'll come and lay up in here, and then I can come along, shake the bees off, put a queen excluder in there, and leave her for a day, and that'll repopulate with a bunch of young bees, and then I can take that freely as a split without worrying about where the queen is, because I've already shaken her into the bottom box. So that's a really nice way to make splits. This is what I was meaning about this frame grabber. I can loosen that frame. It's also stuck to the side of the box. I can loosen it from the box. And because I can lift the frame with one hand, I can pull that jester, the side of the jester out like that. Give me more space. I would say that is completely acceptable. Very happy with this. So these two nucs that you see me transferring here today, they are nucs that were purchased from a local beekeeper using funds that were donated to me by very good people, very generous people online. You know who you are, and I'm very grateful to you for that. It's pretty nice nucs. So this is what your donations got. I have enough donation left that, look at that frame of brood, oh it's beautiful, that I think I'm going to be able to bring in 2 more. And I was able to purchase some queens previously with those donations. So I'm just ever so grateful to the generous people for providing those. Get off the lid. Okay, I'm working through the end of this project. I've just got these two to do. And I decided to look down in this one. This one, it doesn't seem to be super robust. And I thought, you know what, I'm almost done here. I'll just sit down, look through this. I'm glad I did. And I'm sad to say that this is it's one of my Randy Oliver queens. And I always say that it's more important that you know what normal looks like than you know what problems look like, whether it be diseases or any other issues, because at least if you know what normal looks like and you say something is not normal, then you can call that into question and find out what's going on. So here's what's going on. Now, I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to tip it in profile here. So it looks like we've got plenty of eggs and larvae, all stages. Problem is, it's not organized. Okay, so there's eggs in here, there's mature larvae, there's young larvae, there's capped brood, but the cappings are domed. Well, you know what a domed capping is, right? Same on this side. Lots of eggs, a bit of open brood, a bunch of, spotty cap brood. Okay, I'll give you a minute if you're not sure what domed larva and what this means. Okay. So here's my queen. Nice green dot on her. So my queen is present. She seems to be doing her thing. Some might look at the domed larva and say, or the domed cappings, they might say, well, those are drones. Well, they are drones. And they might say, well, the queen died and they've gone into laying workers. Well, I recognize this pretty fast as not laying workers. There's different cues, and I won't go into that, but it's a good thing that I can see the queen, because that confirms what I think is going on here. That queen's no good. Okay? And she's either got a blocked ovarial or she's not mated properly. She looks like she's mated well. She's a nice plump yellow queen, yellow with dark stripes. So she's a drone layer. I don't know if she's run out of ammunition or if she's poorly mated and they're diploids or what. That's an interesting conversation, but it's not very useful for me at this point. What I need to do is I need to get rid of her. I'm not sure what to do, though. There's not a lot to salvage here. One thing I can do, because my hives are situated the way they are, I can pick this up and remove it, shake the bees out, and the bees will just beg their way in somewhere else. So I can pinch that queen and at least save the bees, because there's really nothing else here to save. There really isn't. So I think I'll probably do that. I hate pinching queens, especially, it's ironic because I was just looking at, Randy 24 on my lids, and I was thinking, boy, I just love the idea of got Randy Oliver's genetics in my yard. And then I come across this. I'm not blaming Randy at all. This happens. This happens. Can't be helped. It's part of it. It's just one of those, percentages. Oh, I gotta find that queen again. There she is. Well, too bad. I really hate killing queens, but she's gotta go. because she ain't doing it. It's a good time to practice picking up a queen, and you know, you can practice picking her up so that you can mark a queen. I'm not very good at that. So see, now I've got a hold of her with her left legs. You can't get one because she'll twist it off, and then I could mark that queen. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna squash her. Thank you for your service. She came a long way to die in Lebo. Okay, so this is going to get shaken out here. I'm going to look at this one first, or at least next, and I might just use this as the second box for that one. If that one's in good shape, we'll see. We'll see. Get this one back together. I think I had one of my Randy Queens, one or two of my Randy Queens, not make the introduction process, I should say. See, this also is a question. Look at this colony. You've seen the rest of the colonies that I'm dealing with here. They're getting seconds. This is not one of those. So let's look again. See what's going on. Something going on here. There's something going on, and it's not what I want to be going on. What I want to be going on is I want the queen to be laying strong and fast. And that is not what's happening. Like I say, you get intimately familiar with what normal is, and you'll see not normal in an instant. So I'm not seeing any laying. I'm seeing what looks like a pretty nice brood frame there. So let's have a look at that frame. And I'm a big fan of looking at a frame of brood, and it's like a little crystal ball into the past. You can tell what the last 21 days of this frame was like. So you see that? That's a nice frame of brood. Okay, so what's going on here? That looks like a nice little frame too. I see no eggs outside that. So I see a frame that's not filled. The brood has not filled the frame. So if she was laying hard and fast, she would have kept going, all the way out. So she's not done that. And not only that, but I don't see anything in these cells outside of this patch of sealed brood. So what I should see, and again, if you know what normal is, what's normal is you'll see sealed brood and then a progression of younger larvae out to eggs on the outside. That's normal. This is not. It looks pretty nice right now, but we've only got, 12 days of sealed brood here left. Right? Brood is sealed on the 8th day. So, 8 days ago or more, she stopped laying, it looks like to me. Know your life cycle. I'm not that good at it. I'm not bragging at all. I wonder about it a lot, but that's key. Know your life cycle. Okay, so here's one, and it's much more spotty. Okay, that's a little bit different. I still don't see anything in those cells. I think our queen died. So this is a possible clue. That looks like an emergency cell that was... It's hard to tell if it emerged properly or what, but it was there. So did I miss an emergency cell when I made the nucs and that emerged virgin killed my queen that I bought? Maybe. That maybe is what happened. A lot of propolis, holy smokes. But I'm not certain I even have a queen in this colony here, in this hive. Unless I see her. It's a cup, but there's nothing in it. Yeah. I think this queen vanished about a week ago. Because the last egg she laid has grown up and is now sealed brood. And that takes place in about 8 days. So there's been no queen in here for 8 days, is what I'm going to say. Maybe a little bit longer, but certainly no less. And I haven't been in this hive 8 days ago. I've been in this hive for a long time. I just kind of clean while I think, right? Just kind of clean while I think. So you got a little bit of brood here now. This could be used for a split. If I had a mated queen, that could be used to make a nuke. So I have a little bit of time. I say there hasn't been a queen in here in 8 days. I'm 2 weeks away from laying workers. As long as I don't have a virgin running around in here. Virgins you'll see, because they just run. They just run everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to put that together. I'll put that note in my memory bank. And if I can scare up a mated queen, I think my retailer said that he had some available on the 26th, maybe. That might be fine. That's it's 13 days yet. It's almost 2 weeks, so that's going to be tight for this colony. Maybe some QMP, maybe some open larva here. And there's no queen here, right? And there's no queen there now. So maybe combine these two, put that one on top of here, and go find a frame of eggs somewhere. I think that's a good idea. And that should keep them happy for a little while. I'll just take one of these out again. This has got nothing on it. And that's a little test too, because if I put eggs in here and they don't make a cell, then they got a queen, like even a virgin or something. So I'm gonna go find something from another hive. Well, that worked pretty good. I opened the top of a hive, top box, pulled out a frame. There had some eggs on there, but it also had a queen on it. So I pulled out the next frame, and it had even more eggs on it. So I took the whole thing, bees and all. And so we'll slide that in here. And they should make that's frame number 4. We'll give them this patty. So we're going to need protein for making queens. And I'm just going to plop this one on top and solve that problem too. They don't really need a double, but it shouldn't hurt them. There, I dealt with 2 issues. That is no longer a Randy 24. Well, that's the bee work today. So So kind of disappointing about the Randy Oliver ones, but you know, it's good to catch those situations before they get too far along, because there's still something there I can use. There's still bees that haven't gone to laying worker stage. If they get to that stage, then all you've got is equipment left. That's all you've got. So I'll pack it in. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you joining me. Take care and have fun.